Yeah, so the most important thing for us is being on the board of directors because, again, we want to be involved in the major decisions that could affect, the immigration status of our investors or the value of the asset itself. The second thing we do is, we have oversight through the operating agreement. So every month the developer has to send us the monthly draw, and we have somebody in our portfolio management group that will review it, compare it to the budget, and then approve it. And then once we approve it, we send it to the bank, and the bank does the same thing we do. They review it, and they send somebody to the job site every month. And if we're paying for the refrigerators, they make sure that all the refrigerators are there, and then the bank pays the draw. So there's that oversight. Once an asset is placed into operation, we're collecting financial statements on a monthly basis, and again, our portfolio management people are comparing it to the budget and making sure that the asset is operating in line with our expectations. And if not, we'll explore why it's not doing as well and see if we can help correct those issues. Generally, they're performing in line or better, and then we use those monthly financial statements to prepare, I mentioned earlier, quarterly financial statements that we prepare for our investors along with quarterly newsletters. We also, we've been doing it since our first fund. We provide an annual audit. In the operating agreement now, with our JCs, we've required them to also have an annual audit done, and they provide that audit to us, and we use that to consolidate into our funds audit. And then the last thing that really comes through the operating agreement is the exit. In our case, the last thing we get through that operating agreement is the ability to force a sale. So we typically give the developer the opportunity to build the asset, stabilize the asset, and then look for an opportune time to exit. But because we know our investors want to get their money back, then we have a provision in there of forced sale. So if we're typically there after 4.5 or 5 years, then we have the ability to take control of the asset, we'll hire a broker and arrange for the sale to get money up to the fund and out to the investors. And we make money, I think it's important to add, we make money by the capital gain at the end of the fund. So it perfectly aligns our interests with those of the EB5 investors, because the developer just, his interest is just to build the project, whatever it is. But he's not in the immigration business. He doesn't really care so much, I think, about the EB5 investors. But because we invest in equity and we get compensated by that capital gain, then our interest is the same as investors. Profitably liquidate the fund as quickly as we can and return capital. Because until investors get all their returns and all their capital back, we don't know if there's a capital gain. And the investors get their money back before we get our money. So again, it's a great alignment of interests the way the fund model works.
JWP 专注全球华人的海外资产管理。